All right, we're gonna do this. I know the lighting sucks. I know it's horrible. I procrastinate, doing this, and I actually have like a reflector that if I could kind of like I stole from one of the neighbors. He gets that food delivered, where you cook. They send you the meal and then you just put it together. And the inside of those make great photographic reflectors for you DIY folks. But I just haven't. I want to make a soft light out of it eventually. But anyway, so. If I had a couple of cute guys over here to hold that thing up for me, we could have some highlights and shadows. Okay, first let's address the unicorn in the room. It is exactly 1 month today since I lost my partner, my husband, my best friend, my confidant, my wingman, my straight man, everything. And man, I'm devastated. I mean, trust me, I am as devastated as the first day. But I won't say it gets better. No, because people say, is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything I can do for you? The only buddy that I really want right now is him, and I know that that's an impossibility. But I'm starting to think, yeah, there are some things you could do for me. Like, could you maybe help me wash my bathroom walls so I can make this place presentable to try to get a roommate? But anyway, all of that aside, it is Fantastic Friday, and what did I want to? Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Okay, now I'm faced with changing my relationship status on Facebook. And I really don't know what all the options are yet, but I'm so tempted to put complicated. Like, I could put widow, but I kind of I don't want to be a widow. Because people, I don't want them to think that, well, I'm like, wear out husbands or that, there's somehow I have to be approached with caution or anything like that. And so I'm thinking maybe just going complicated, because I understand that I have a much larger choice of genders than there used to be offered. And since this whole vlog project of mine was about reinvention, primarily about reinvention of diet and exercise, I didn't plan on becoming a widower in the process, but it is about reinvention. And I may even want to change my sexual orientation from just gay male to queer. I know a lot of men don't want to hear that, but in my day, that was an insult. But there's a part of me might want to reclaim that, and there's a part of me that, yeah, I do want to be a little bit queer. I don't always want to have to run around being so not allowing myself to wear cologne and things like that. And so anyway, so that's that. But yeah, I helped the whole thing. But it made me think of a guy I used to know years ago, and we belong to the same fellowship, and it catered to people who dealt with a certain malaise. We're not allowed to use the word disease anymore because it's so tacky, but a certain malaise of genetic or hereditary origin. People in my family had it. I had it, and it's basically you add alcohol and we break out in assholes. So anyway, but I knew a gentleman, and he was a gay man, older. Oh, he was an old queen. That's what I call him back then, an old queen, which means he's about the age that I am now. But this was before before marriage. I mean, this was before domestic partners, and sometime many decades ago, he had adopted his lover, as we used to say back then, who was a little bit younger than him, but not significantly. But he had adopted him so that he and his lover could share certain legal things that you couldn't otherwise back then, dealing with health and stuff like that. But his lover husband had son, lover husband son, his lover slash son had eventually succumbed to this terrible scourge of a disease at a fairly young age. And I would see this gentleman, and he would show up at meetings. He was a very nice guy, but he'd show up at meetings and at gay meetings or whatnot, and and he would talk about losing his lover. Partner was almost becoming in vogue then. Almost losing, having lost his lover to this condition, and everybody would, oh, and and oh, God, that's terrible, that's so sad. But then he would go to straight meetings, and I would see him at straight meetings, and he would say, I can't tell you how horrible it is to have lost my son to this disease. And then, of course, I used to sit there thinking, oh, that is so divisive, that is so duplicit, you are such a double dipper. So, but here I am right now thinking, like, how am I double a dipper? And what, for you younger folks that don't know what a double dipper was, is I just heard it the other day because somebody sent me a gift and she said I'm a double dipper. When I was a kid, a double dipper was a widow, older woman generally, who got not only her husband's Social Security, but his railroad pension. And that was a big deal. I mean, she was fixed because railroad pensions were good. And I knew this one old woman, her name was Mildred. And besides getting good Social Security, she had been widowed to 2 railroad workers, and had been married long enough that she caught her Social Security and 2 railroad pensions. She was a triple dipper. So she was really doing good, But let me see. Today, Jack would be very proud of me. I myself got in touch with the Microsoft people. It took 2 days, but I have now migrated. He's no longer the administrator. I am now administrating. I'm administrating. I have cramps. Yeah, I'm administrating. I'm the administrator of my own life, and I have always joked that, like, I am pretty much just a screen name, and Jack was the password and the app and everything. So he'd be proud of me that I accomplished that today. And I only had a couple of meltdowns, and I want to thank Mary in the call center in, I'm not sure she was, but John David in Manila. He was fabulous, patient, and so I want to thank them. And I just want to thank everybody who's made this last month a little easier, a little easier. So go out there and have a fucking wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you later. I may show up anytime. Later.